Kilometer. Who for before go rise up again on the speedometer. You want know I'm at the mass, men and men on meter. It was nice to meet you, but wasn't nice to meet you.
Early one morning in 2023, I sat in the parlor at home. The flat screen TV held all the attention I could give and more, but I remember the clock on the mantelpiece telling the time as 4 a.m. The TV was off. I briefly remember thinking that it was March 1, 2023. I remember every thought clearly, even the disjointed ones. I mean thoughts like it being 2 weeks away from the 80s of March, the day Julius Caesar was assassinated, my friend texting me for our morning workout, my ex swearing to me that Bola Ahmed Tinubu would win the presidential elections. The elections. The TV was off. I turned it on. It was 4 a.m. Fuck me. My parents ran into the parlor. I looked at them, remarked that it was going to be a long 4 years, and left.
Affiliation. You voted and struggled for a better Nigeria, more hopeful nation, and I thank you for your participation and dedication to our democracy.
I am Nigerian. My president is a bat, and this is my story. It is disturbingly lazy eyes and the general disposition of an iguana. Bats couldn't avoid possessing the sort of face that only a mother would love. He was sworn in as president on the 29th of May 2023.
Tinubu, and as President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I will discharge my duties and perform my functions honestly, to the best of my ability, and faithfully, in accordance with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the law.
And his oath has scarcely hit our ears when he did something frankly surprising. This man spoke at Eagle Square in Abuja and famously declared,
"The first subsidy is gone."
Just like that. He noted that there was no provision for its funding in the national budget past June 2023. For many Nigerians, we had always known hell. We were used to hardship, but this was the beginning of the ninth hell of Dante's Inferno. Within 2 days, the pump price at the NNPC station close to my house went from 195 naira to 537 naira. Nigerians groaned and, like moles used to the painful but assured tightening of the bridle, we grit our teeth and got on with it. And what did our president have to say? On June 29, while visiting traditional leaders in Ogun State, Bat said that he was taking baby steps of pain that were necessary to fix Nigeria's economy.
Just go through these baby steps of pain. Baby steps of pain.
Or more. Those baby steps were excruciatingly painful. One day in July, I took a look at the fuel pump at the NNPC station closest to my house. It was 617 naira per litre. I like to watch the news. I turned on the TV that morning. So it was being announced that the administration was floating the naira to collapse multiple official windows into a market-driven system. This successfully cleared the backlogged $10 billion in FX liabilities to boost foreign investor confidence. So for laymen, it meant that the government stopped setting artificial rates for exchange and allowed the markets to determine the naira's value. The naira initially weakened, but this helped Nigeria obtain enough dollars to pay foreign businesses and investors who had been waiting to access their money. So as a result, foreign investors became more confident that they could bring money into Nigeria and get it back whenever they wanted. This made sense, but only ostensibly. The trade-off was painful. The naira became much weaker, imports became more expensive, and inflation rose. Because the Nigerian economy relies heavily on imported raw materials and finished goods, the weaker naira made imports significantly more expensive. This created widespread imported inflation, raising the cost of living and doing business across the board. 1 kg of rice went from 550 naira to 900 naira. beef jumped from 2,500 to 3,100 naira per kg, and gari spiked from 350 naira to 400 naira per kg. All in a few months after Tinubu's swearing in. Baby steps of pain. I remember asking my brother if the baby belonged to a whale. BAT passed the historic electricity bill that broke the federal monopoly on electricity, permitting state governments and private investors to independently generate, transmit, and distribute power. I can't speak for many rural Nigerians, but I remember hearing remarks that Tinubu wanted to kill us, but at least we had lights to die in. Then there was talk of these super highways being built from Lagos to Calabar and from Sokoto to Badagry. Construction started in 2023 and is still ongoing. The government official in charge of that was none other than our Honorable Minister of Works, Senator Engineer David Moeze Umahi. His work on the road was nothing short of, well, unforgettable. He certainly spared no expense. So the Minister of Works, David Umahi, stated on Arise News that the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway cost an average of 7.5 billion naira per kilometer, but that the initial 47.47 kilometer section of the 700 kilometer project cost 1.067 trillion naira. I remember wondering why he just didn't state average cost per kilometer.
Who has said all sorts. Anyway, I am not beholden to you. My job is accountability.
You are too small for me to report you to the president.
No, but they are empirical.
Too small.
Minister, let me speak. Minister, let me speak. I have empirical evidence. The world watched it on the commissioner of the project when you mentioned the questions I asked you to the president. That was reporting me to the president officially. The world watches, so you don't need to dilly-dally about the empirical facts. I don't talk without facts, Minister. You know, when I have my facts, I talk. And I insist on my question when I ask on cost.
Let me address you.
Minister, you will not allow me speak. The problem is you will not allow me speak. You spoke for over 20 minutes, over 10 minutes.
Because you don't know what you are speaking.
But let me speak. Let me speak. You will not allow me speak. You see, if you can just keep quiet and be calm and just allow me speak, I'll be happy, right? So my question still persists as regards the cost per kilometer. You cannot tell me that we don't have a right to know the cost per kilometer. Even if it's an undulating landscape, give us all the facts and the details of the cost per kilometer. That's all we'll ask for. Other questions as regards the loans taken. Let me finish. Let me finish.
Listen to me.
Minister, you will not allow me speak. The minister will not allow me speak.
No. Don't do that with me.
Minister will not allow me speak.
I was in your studio.
Minister will not allow
when the first section was on, and I ran the figures. And what you're asking us is 750 kilometers of coastal highway. We should tell you cost per kilometer, so you multiply by 750. That's nonsensical.
No, so tell me the cost per kilometer. There's nothing too hard for you to tell me that figure. You've not still told me that figure, so I was right on that point. The second point,
because you don't understand anything.
Shisha made this statement in October 2025, and a quick Google search tells me that 1.067 trillion naira was roughly 784 billion USD.
Corruption is not bad.
Like I said, he spared no expense.
Corruption is only bad if I'm not involved.
Yes.
Meanwhile, BAT was appointing new service chiefs. He said that on his first day in office that terrorism would be a thing of the past. He said that the nation's armed forces would get enough funding as well as platform to the fight against terrorists and bandits. He said that terrorism would be a thing of the past. Right now, over 20,000 people have died from acts of violence since the day he entered office till today. BAT was right. Terrorism is a thing of the past and we live in it because there's no future for us. 2023 ended bleak as ever for us Nigerians. 2024 started bleak as ever for us Nigerians. BAT signed the budget for the year, which he called the budget of renewed hope. He said it was 28.78 trillion naira. He said it was focused on job-rich growth, macroeconomic stability, and poverty reduction. He then introduced and implemented a new minimum wage, raising it from 30,000 naira to 70,000 naira in July 2024. He said it was to cushion the effects of inflation.
I heard you crying. So take this.
I'm not a math guru, but let's do some quick calculations here. When President BAT took over the reins of government, minimum wage was 30k. and a litre of fuel was sold at 195 naira. President Bat had us buying fuel at 770 naira in July 2024, which is 70k minimum wage. 30k divided by 195 gets you 153.8. 70k divided by 770 gets you 90.9. So the minimum monthly salary in 2024 could barely fill the tank of a car twice. Baby steps of pain. By now, Nigerians had a name for him, T-Pain. We had others like Abadu Master.
Recruit 50 million youths into the army and take away from their recruitment source. What they will eat? Cassava, àgbàdo, corn in the morning, yam in the afternoon. It's growing here. You create demand and consumption.
Bala Blue.
Again, a town hall different from Bala Blue. Bulaba.
But T-Pain was more apt. So T-Pain launched the Nigeria Consumer Credit Scheme to enhance citizens' purchasing power. Did I hear you ask how?
Now why your government we do?
Well, the government paid banks some sort of subsidy money so that they wouldn't have to charge you so much interest when you take a loan under the scheme. How do you pay back the loan in a rapidly crashing economy? I don't know, that's your business, you have to figure that out, my guy. Oh, and T-Pain signed the bill formalizing the student loan scheme to provide financial support to higher education students. By the time he was done with the same higher education students that he wanted to support in 2024, fuel had hit 1,189 naira per litre. Rice was sold at 1,900 naira per kg, beef was 6,000 naira per kg, and garri was approximately 1k per kg. Yes. A new year began, and the 54.99 trillion 2025 Appropriation Act was signed. This act prioritized defense and security with 9.87% of the budget, infrastructure with 8.16%, and education with 7.08%. Secured approval from the House of Representatives to extend the 2025 capital budget implementation into 2026 to prevent abandoned projects. This meant, for the laymen, that the government's revenue generation speed was slow, so they needed more time to generate money to run the projects of 2025 in 2026. Or maybe the funds were getting stolen, or both. Draw your own conclusions.
Issue of insecurity, that is the law. That's obedience of law.
Nigeria's insecurity problem is a perennial one, and its complete complexity and lack of defining lines makes it difficult, if not impossible, to discuss in something other than the full section devoted to it. Let me start by stating that the security situation in Nigeria did not start under Bat, but rather is a result of a geometrically progressive decay of governance in Nigeria. But saying this does not mean that the current president is absolved of every responsibility for letting this happen, because laxity, when allowed to reach certain levels, becomes indistinguishable from complicity. And no other adjective qualifies the current government's attitude towards insecurity other than lax. The principal reason why a government exists is to uphold law and order and to protect the lives, properties, rights and freedoms of its citizens. This current administration has failed tremendously in this regard. I'll be bold enough to say that every single civilian government in Nigeria has fallen short as far as security is concerned. But then, this administration makes them even look excellent. On December 24, 2023, heavily armed gunmen attacked over 20 communities in Plateau State. They killed close to 200 people and displaced thousands. The next year saw thousands of Nigerians lose their lives in dozens of attacks. Notable ones include the Tamowa massacre on September 3, 2024, with a death toll of about 130, and the Lake Chad massacre on January 14, 2025, with a death toll of close to 100. Both were carried out by Boko Haram insurgents. 2025 would have been a particularly good year for you if you were a bandit. The Yawata, Karim Lamido, and Plateau massacres occurred with deaths numbering in the low hundreds. Road travel has become a Nigerian version of the Russian roulette. People go missing only to have gunmen call their families and demand insanely high ransoms. Just a few weeks ago, about 39 school children and 7 teachers were kidnapped from a school in Obomosho, Oyo State. One teacher was beheaded on camera, and what did your government do? Nothing. The terrorists published a list of outrageous demands, and what did your government do? Nothing. National Bureau of Statistics reported that Nigerians paid about 2.23 trillion naira to kidnappers within a single tracking year. That's about 1.45 billion from a thriving industry with a success rate of about 65%. What's worse is that these kidnappers and bandits flaunt their wealth on TikTok Live, and the same government that can arrest someone for making one post on X cannot track these bandits. Some Nigerians even drop their account numbers in the comments to receive money in massive giveaways. Blood money, by the way. Nigerians, I am so ashamed of you. He said that terrorism will be a thing of the past. Right now, over 20,000 people have died from acts of violence since he entered office till today. Do you know how many civilians have died in Ukraine since their war against Russia started in 2022? About 15,000. Fellow Nigerians, we might as well be at war. With whom? I don't know. It's 2026 now, and Bat seeks a second term. In a normal country, a president seeking re-election usually campaigns using achievements, completed projects, and ongoing projects. It's called an incumbency record. But guess what? We are not a normal country, and the administration has no incumbency record.
Go and die. Go and quench. Put up all the verse. Go and quench. Go and die.
So my message to you Nigerians is, if you think this administration is the worst you've ever seen, you have one thing to do. Get your PVC and vote. If you watch the news and any world news, you'd have seen the results of the Hungarian parliamentary elections a few months ago. This goes to show you that you cannot rig an election in a politically participative country. It is statistically difficult. About 78.9% of registered Hungarian voters turned out to vote, the highest ever in their entire history, as compared to 26.71% in Nigeria. We've never been more politically apathetic than 26.71% since the inception of this country. Now let me tell you why being politically apathetic is the most stupid thing you could ever do as a Nigerian, and how voter turnout makes rigging damn near impossible. Nigeria has about 100 million registered voters, or close enough to make no difference. Let's say we have 3 candidates and we achieve 85% voter turnout. Imagine. I know it's difficult, but imagine. If Mr. A gets 50% of 85 million and Mr. B and C get 25% respectively, please tell me where electorally fraudulent Mr. B would get the numbers to surpass 50%. 50% of 85 million is 42.5 million. 25% of 85 million is 21.25 million, if my math is correct. Mr. B would need more than 20 million votes to surpass Mr. A's tally, a number that he cannot get from the politically apathetic and frankly stupid, oh my god. Chill, I'm derailing. From the politically apathetic 15%. You see, this is not rocket science. Viktor Orban was the Prime Minister of Hungary for 16 years, and Hungarians swear that he was the worst. I know he's not as bad as Tinubu, but this was what happened in elections against Peter Major. Viktor Orban was and has always been a notorious fraudulent person, but the voter turnout for this year was 78.94%, and Peter Major hit 55% of total votes cast. Hungary has a total voter population of 8.1 million. Orban got less than 35% of that number. Now tell me, what else would have Viktor Orban done short of a coup d'etat? So for all of you that won't vote because you're waiting for a revolution, let me tell you what I think. I think you're a liar. I think you're lying to yourself, because no revolution will happen in a country that is too apathetic to vote. Voting is the bare minimum. You know that. You're evading the burden of asking yourself the real question, the question of what you have to do to save the country that you live in. So you defer the responsibility to a later time to the relative safety of the probability of a revolution. Meanwhile, you're hoping it won't happen, sha. Guess what? People who refuse to vote are less likely to join in any form of protest, because it costs 5 times the energy and carries 15 times more risk. There is no revolution in an apathetic state, and the reason we haven't revolted is because we are scared to die. While no one can argue that we still die either way, it is understandable because uncertain death is more preferable than a more certain one. So yes, we are cowards, all of us. We are guilty of the sin of convenience. But those that won't vote are twice the cowards that we are. Get your PVC and vote.